Hello and welcome to day 7, the final day of the beginner guide series that I'm doing for Dragon Awaken. A couple of things I want to get out of the way right at the beginning of this video. What I said yesterday about the beginner series events lasting into week 3 was wrong. The Hades event that I was seeing and that event cycle on that week was actually part of the main server event cycle. I was basing my information off of my experience in another game that's published by this exact same company and one that this game is based off of called Wartune, where you have your first month in isolated new server events, and then it usually waits to throw you into the main server events until you line up with their cycle again. So oftentimes you're isolated from the main server events for about 5 weeks. So really wasn't expecting servers to jump into the main server events after 2, but it does appear that that is what happens here in this game, which means you don't need to prepare or anticipate that week 3 Hades event. Hades was the event that was going on this week on main servers, and it will be a recurring event that pops up over time. I don't know what the frequency of that is. I don't know if they'll line up the same way it did this last week with all of the heroes that were important for Odin. Regardless, you can't predict that. So week 2 is actually a fairly boring week for new servers. You do have the Vera event and the slot machine event, which you will get if you do 3 recharges of $200. You'll be able to max out the slot machine, which is actually a pretty good bonus to your BR if you choose your slots wisely. But it is very, very expensive. And then $200 cumulative recharge over the course of the week, and you will get Vera, which is guaranteed Vera. I mean, Vera is not a fantastic, but she's a 4-star hero, and having her isn't an awful thing to have going on. So completely up to you. Other than that, there is a 5-time recharge event at $10 for a relic on the week. I may make a video going over that on this character tomorrow. I may not. Haven't really decided yet. This character was mostly just for this first week, going over these first events. Going over today's events, I mean, as you can see here, I without doing anything on the day, I am sitting in 9th. To get a better, this is your actual BR, so to get a better picture on where that actually is, if you look, I'm actually about 100,000 above 10th. So this is fairly safe. Looking at the spend on the day, they are throwing a bunch of stupid things in here again that just aren't really going to be worth it for you. You still just really don't want to buy anything from this shop. It's just a bunch of garbage. The consumption event did end, consumption ranking event, and I did get 10 shards, so I was 4th through 10th doing what I did. Now at this point in time, I can keep these. There will be other events that I will be able to get this shard in. Same with the Fate Bow, same with any of my other shards. Or I could dump them into the shard store. And if I dumped them into the shard store, depending on how aggressively I wanted to level up, at 57, if you have enough shards for about 2,600 shards, you can level up your flag to level 3. For about 5,000, you can level it up to level 4. A level 4 flag is 400,000 BR. That costs about 5,000 of these tokens or 100 of these coins. If you look here, I can get 1,000 of those coins, thus 5,000 of these evolve crystals for half of a frost fiend. That gives me 36,000 BR. So for what's equivalent to 18,000 BR, I can get 400,000 BR by turning it in. So that's personally what I would do if you're going to level aggressively. If you're not going to level aggressively or you're a completionist, maybe keep it and get them out. But you're going to get better returns turning that in. Plus, when you do unlock this dungeon, you're going to get about 4 a day. My other character's at 6.5 million BR, and I can clear like 3 stages. It's just ridiculously difficult, scaled up really high towards the end game. So looking at my favorite shop for the first week, you have a bunch of these souls in day 7. I wouldn't buy any of these. First of all, they've declared the original price to be different than what one of them sold earlier. I mean, this one right here, you can see Relic Soul, 15,000 original price. Relic Soul, 20,000 original price. Well, which is it? So obviously they don't know. There is no real original price. They just want you to buy 20 Relic Souls for $6,000. So neither of these are a real sale. To them, 20 souls is worth 60 bucks. So that's the way it goes. Those aren't sales. The discount shop here, not worth it. Your daily recharge on the day is going to give you these Mount Gacha coins. Again, not worth it. Really, as you level up, leveraging the shards into this shard store are going to be worth so much more than any mount you could unlock. So don't spend a ton of money trying to get these things. They're just not worth it. You could be a player who spends thousands of dollars to unlock every mount in a game, and somebody who spends a couple hundred and really leverages the shard store is going to be stronger than you. So, by a lot. So, um, yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing any of that. Still wouldn't recommend recharging on this day. Just not a great reward. Doesn't line up. Perfect example of the way sometimes the main server lines up. On the 7th of this month, the main servers released a series of events that lasted 3 days, and also overlapped with the events that they released on the 4th of the month. So from the 7th to the 9th, there were 5 different recharge events going, and 4 different consumption events going, all at the same time. So just by recharging, you would be claiming 5 different places, and by spending anything, you'd be claiming 4 different places. So that's the type of thing that you can actually line up. So choosing to go with these really pitiful rewards, this is exploitation of characters who don't know any better. And it's kind of shameful. Basically, they're banking on the idea that a lot of players will come in here, they'll spend money on the game, they'll get addicted to the slot machine type mechanics, and then back out when they realize how much money they've spent, or try and get away from it. So they're not trying to appease you as a player in this first server. They're not trying to benefit you. They're not trying to help you get a leg up. They're not doing any of those things. They are trying to capitalize on your inexperience. That is all they are trying to do. So it's important that you do not let them, because they will take advantage, and they will get as much money out of you as possible for very, very, very little rewards. It's harder for them to get that same amount of money out of players who've been playing for 2 years, because they have exposure and experience to years of events. So it has to feel worth it to them. So when you start getting into the same events that they're throwing out there to try and get that guy to spend his $4,000 on the game, a little bit different than when they're trying to get you to spend your first. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, I really, really would consider not going overboard. Make sure you're where you want to be on this chart for the last day. Make sure you can get your rewards based on what you're going to get. I can actually go ahead and get my beast card. Not going to get any more of these tokens, so 100% worth picking that up just because it's something versus nothing. And if you're where you want to be, I would strongly suggest saving your resources. The cycle, I believe, in week 2 is wing upgrade stones, followed by the spirit stones, spirit evolve crystals, followed by the hero upgrade stones, followed by the soul stones. If that holds true for every server, I believe that is the pattern for the first week, or the second week, outside of this first week of events for you to worry about. And again, I'll make one more video tomorrow to cover the Vera event when it pops up, but then there's nothing else to really cover in that second week. It's a very, very straightforward week. You just get on, you do your events. There's really not a lot of spend. There is a Wheel of Fortune event that pops up in the second half of the week that is really, really good for picking up these spider shards and turning in for lava walker shards, and then turning that straight into Flag Evolve and Fiend Evolve crystals. So I may cover that as well. But till then, good luck, you guys, and hope you guys did everything you wanted to do on your first week of Dragon Awaken.